I was a child. I was a kid in a home that went to church, and then I fell off. I would say in my road to Damascus, which is super Christian reference. But it really was. I fell off into my desert where I didn't believe.
Mm.
And I know that people are watching this are probably gonna be shocked because there's only a couple people that I talked to about it in that phase where I went off and tried to live in a day and world where I just didn't pray, didn't want to talk to God. Everything that happened, I wasn't praying for a way out. I wasn't praying for perspective. I wasn't praying for insight. I was just trying to view it from how the world's supposed to view it as, and coming to find out, like, I went through that revelation in my life where I was like, as much as I tried to live my life away from who God was, who Christ was, and what I grew up to know Christ and God as, I couldn't. I couldn't.
The joy of children laughing around you. These are the makings of you. It is true, the makings of you.
This is nice though.
But hey, thank you, man.
This is
Thank you.
nice.
So let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful people. It's your host, Drake, B. Drake with Everything Culture, and we're back with another Makings of You. And once again, this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whenever you're listening or watching, we have the great, the genuine, like the humble, the strong, the kind, hardworking, this talented brother, Paul Saelee. What's good, Paul? How you doing, man?
What's up? What's up? Thank you for having me on, man. Like I said, like we were just saying, it's I look at this like a true blessing to connect with you, because I admire you, man. Like truly admire you, and how you connect with people, and you really go the lengths to know people, not just to know them, but to truly know them, and to connect with them in a sense and bring that out. That's a gift, man. So thank you for even considering having me on here, man.
All right, bro. You ain't about to have me crying on here, man.
Yeah.
Because that's truly the goal. The not just connect with me, but to connect with the world. We need to connect with one another.
Yeah.
That's what I think. We see have so much separation in society, and it's just so simple just to have a conversation, get to know one another. So, as you know, the Lord sees fit for me to step in this world and use the gifts that He given me
Yeah.
to bring us together. That's why I think it's a true goal to seek Him first. But
Mhm.
we go get into that,
Yeah.
But once again, since I've been here in Seattle, since I've met Paul, and where our places where we know each other, and I like, man, hearing your story, hearing your experience, it's like, wow. Wow. And it is every time I look up more and more, and when I'm able to introduce you to new people, I'm like, y'all just don't know like a quarter of this
Yeah.
person. So I'm just like, really, this is a pleasure. It's all my guests. I'm grateful to have them, and I'm grateful to have you. But today we're doing the makings of Paul. So, Paul, you ready?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So, first question we have for you: how would you describe yourself?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. First of all, I'm a flawed person, um, and even though that I'm a flawed person, I know that there's some good, and I just want to be good. Be good as in not in a sense of limelight or what people perceive me as, but good in a sense as in how I'm called to be and who I'm called to be, um, despite flaws, despite things that I've been through. The flaws make me want to be good,
Mm.
so I can't look at flaws bad, but it's something to reflect on that allowed me to connect with other people, so that, in a sense, to live the most authentic life, to love each person and communicate with them, the best that I can. And that's a deep reflection in me, where I have to realize that the flaws in me are flaws, but at the same time, even those things could be used for good, and God definitely brings that out to show me that and to humble me quick. So, man, to describe who I am is hard. And other than that, I'm a child of God, man. So I'll say that first and foremost, but child first. Always being a child, and that's something I'm continuing to learn every day, man.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean that's that. I mean, other than that, there's nothing else that's special about me. So.
No, man, thank you. It felt like you was with us in church this morning. We were talking about your traumas or your injuries can make you into a weapon, but you should be an instrument.
Yeah.
You gotta use these things that, once again, usually on the makers, I don't get into all this, but with you, I am. But especially to think about it, even with Jesus, you got to understand, when he came back, when he was resurrection, he was recognized by his injuries. He was weaponized by his flaws. That's how they knew it was really him. That was because of what he went through. He could show you, like, put your finger through my hand. Hey, this is really me. Yeah. So what you're going through is really you, and people need to see you for who you are. So we're going to get into that with the makings of Paul once again. So how would you what cultures do you represent?
Oh, man. That's a loaded question, too.
We have a lot of those.
Culture-wise, like from my background of just me and how I've been raised in my family, I'm a child. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest child of three. Well, four actually. I'm sorry. And we're child of immigrants. My parents, they're Mien, so I'm Mien. I'm half Mien. I'm half Laos, and that's become it's the value. I want to say value. It's a better word. What that means to me, it's continued to grow over the years. It's grown over years because as I even as myself, like digging more into the history of the Mien, and especially my parents and how they came to America and all the struggles that they had to go through, and the Mien and how they struggled and what they had to go through time and time again. There's a lot of trauma in that. And it made me dig deep to figure out what are some parts of me that stem from that generational trauma. Other than that, like I'm Mien, and culture, man, I'm about everything. Honestly, I was raised in a very diverse environment, and I had friends and people that I connected with that were outside of my culture, outside of the people that, outside of my family, outside of people that looked like me, outside of the things that I believed, whether it came to even faith, outside of the things that I just grew up knowing. And it taught me to love all of that because it really shaped me to who I am and who I'm continuing to progress to be. A lot of my mentors, they're not Asian descent. Some of the people that made the most impact in my life were Black, Mexican, of every culture. So it's crazy because all of these people and their upbringings and their stories, like they shaped me into being me, but then also in how I want to reach out and connect with other diverse cultures as well, other people that are close to me. Or when I say community, it's like we have direct community, indirect community, whether it be where we're at in our environment when it comes to work, or where we're just at every day, or even people that we're in close contact with more than other people. And I think that's so important, and it's such a blessing, a gift to be able to be around all that and to witness it, and and to pour into each person, each people, each the community that we're around, and how we can help them grow as much as how they pour into us and help us grow.
Wow, absolutely. Oh. Hey, I hope y'all listening. I hope y'all are listening. This is much of why we do what we do, man. Thank you. So where are you from?
Where am I from? Ooh, I was born in California,
Okay.
in Central California, very small, very small hick town. All right, it's called Saylee, California. Population at that time was probably like 80,000 people.
Dang.
Very conservative. And then I moved up to Seattle when I was 1. So I was barely a baby. Moved up here, and lived here until I was 11, and then moved back down to Central Cali. So I would say I'm from just the West Coast, my whole life.
So where do you represent?
Oh man, I represent the West Coast.
Okay.
It's crazy because it's like half my life was here, and then half my life was in Cali, and then now like moving back and then spending, I guess, however long I'm gonna be here in Seattle until I'm called to go somewhere else.
I feel that. Do you mind sharing your age with us?
Yeah. I don't mind.
Okay.
Mind. Guess. No, I'm kidding. I am 32. 1990.
Shut up.
90s, baby.
Like, what's it? I can look it up. I always thought you were so much younger, just because you got that energy, bro.
I always had that child spirit in me. I always have it.
Yes, you did say that. You did say that. Oh man. So what's your sign?
Sign like zodiac.
Yeah,
sign?
yeah.
Gemini. May.
Really?
May 31st.
Okay. My wife is a Gemini, you know, lean into it, I ain't seen your split personality, but I know you got one if you got one.
That's new to me too. You know that? The whole zodiac thing?
Really?
I've never like looked into it as much, but it's pretty big up here. See, I meet people and it's like, it's big.
And once again, I tell you, I'm not too much into it, but I realize that's the interest of a lot of folks, and I was tied in, your birthday's a birthday, but it's a relatability. I used to say, I always find a little interest because people can guess mine so easily. I'm like, how do you know that? It's your personality. And I'm like, shut up. Okay, but but it's something I always like to put into the show. So
okay.
Maybe somebody can at least think they know a little bit more about you. So you said a little bit already, but can you share a bit about your childhood and upbringing with us?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that I did some counseling, some therapy. For sure, though. A childhood and upbringing. There was a lot of trauma. And I never knew that. I think that's the thing too in the Asian culture is we just don't talk about that. And I still yet to wait to be able to talk with my parents more about that. I think it's so interesting because even with my siblings, I love my siblings. I do. I love my family. But maturing and looking back over the years, it makes me love them even more because I think it's often we often miss it that we can grow up in the same household, but the experiences and the traumas are totally different. and it made me dig deep because I went through a lot of things, but not just me, everyone, my sister, my brother, and for me, I guess I'll get more personal about my childhood. I went through an event in my life, and I'm okay with sharing it now because I done a lot of work to progress through the events that have happened in my life.
Yeah.
I will eventually overcome, but I like saying progress because there's a part of me that likes digging deep and visiting those events and that experience and the pain, because it shaped me and allowed me to be strong. So my parents, they were working a lot since, when we were kids. So we didn't really see them. I didn't really see my parents that much. I never really had a strong relationship with my parents as a child, to my teen years and even young adult years. It was tough, but it was a learning process, and it all started from my grandparents raising my siblings and I. And my grandfather was like my father. He was my hero. And man, I remember, it's crazy. I remember a lot of the times as a child growing up with him, and how his actions and who he was, and the things that he did. It really, I wanted to be like that.
Yeah.
I wanted to love my family, my siblings, even kids, or if and when that happens, to love and to believe in them. So my grandpa passed away when I was 8, and that was pretty traumatic to me because I didn't believe that he died. And I don't remember this, but my siblings tell me this all the time. They were saying that there was a year that I didn't talk. Like, I didn't speak. I may have spoke some things, just like knowledge, but I just didn't talk as much. And I remember parts of it, but after that, I was molested. I went through an experience, and I was molested as a child. Shortly after that, I was 9.5, and as I pieced the past together and worked through those things, it makes a lot of sense on why I was quiet, why I didn't speak a lot, and how those events cascaded into how I was trying to grow as a kid, and then how that continued to snowball into how I was a teen, and how that grew even bigger into when I was a young adult, and then going through anxiety and depression that I never understood until I took account and sought to seek help. So I was like, you know what, like, so these things that were going on in my life, like, that's not regular. Like, the things that I felt, the anxiety, the depression, like, everyone doesn't feel like that. And again, like I was saying, the past, when we go back to the past and all those things that hurt us, especially me, like in that time where I was most vulnerable, looking for people to trust, people to love me, and to help me to find my innocence again when I was a kid, and how to make friends without being a people pleaser. Because at that time, that's what I was trying to do as a kid, was trying to please people so that I could hopefully trust someone to be able to share my pain with, and for them to lift me up out of it. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen. So, yeah, I would say it's crazy because even now, through the years of working through it, I dig back deep, and it's like, man, I missed out on a lot of my childhood. because I didn't know how to operate. Honestly, like I was just operating. I was just living, like existing. I was just existing. I wasn't living. So yeah, my upbringing was like cloudy. It's real cloudy. It's I think back, there's good times for sure. There's always good times with families and close friends, very valuable memories. But a lot of it was very cloudy because it felt like I was living. Well, I felt like I was existing and trying to understand everything that I went through and why it happened, and if I should talk about it, if I should tell my parents about it, because I didn't want it to damage them, or if I should just thug it out, just tough it out, and just say, you know what, like it happened, but I'm gonna keep on keeping on because I still gotta live. So from 9.5 all the way to, man, even my young adult years after high school was me just trying to figure out my place as a person, who I was as a person, my identity as a person, and how I could live to be myself authentically, without trying to please people, without trying to find ways to fit into people's life or for people to fit in mine. But it's a lot better now. So I think that's what really revived me, to give me that child spirit, is because, even as I mature in age, I feel like I'm able to go back and live those parts of me that I feel like I've missed, like those cloudy parts. Like I'm starting to see some clarity. I'm starting to see some peace, and to make peace with it, and to know that, like, whatever happened in my past and those events that have happened, like, it's not okay. No, like, it's not okay. No one, no 9-year-old should, no one, not even 9-year-old, like, no one should ever go through that. But going through that and then being able to still live today, I exist. Yeah, I exist in the world, but I live today knowing that, like, I'm actually happy. Like, I can wake up and know that there's another opportunity to live, and I'm blessed for it, despite the flaws, despite the past, and just grow and hopefully use that story to hopefully encourage and empower other people who are victims, or who are trying to make an understanding of their past as well.
Man, I'm trying to pull back, man. Well, first of all, thank you. I'm gonna give you the biggest hug after this, man. Embrace. And we talked a little bit before this, but how, we give each other our flowers, but somehow, some way, you always, like I said that earlier, you always impress me, just the person who you are. And once again, going from existing to living, and once again, knowing who you are and believing in life, and once again, not saying you're fully healed, but you're making progress through it. That means a lot. And absolutely, this is powerful. The testimony that you have in life is an example of the world. A lot of people going through trauma and things, and the work I've been through, but you are here in the year 2023, and you are successful in what a lot of people may not recognize. But trust me, you are. But so, and you're able to share it with us, and I'm so grateful to have you here on a whole nother level. You feel me? So thank you again, and oh my gosh, and we gonna keep things going, because I'm like, man, seriously, I'm like, I put my clinics up. I was like, I ain't gonna need this. I wasn't the world, like. But seriously, you mentioned about your parents worked a lot, and you have you're a sibling out of 4. You're the youngest out of the 4. So what were the roles of your caregivers? What were the roles? You had your grandparents, and you had your parents, and you had your other siblings. So what was the roles in the household?
When we were kids, my grandparents would take us to school. A lot of my friends growing up, they thought that my grandparents were my parents. They thought my mom was my sister, and my dad, he would pop up every now and then, and they knew that he was my dad, just because he just had that authority figure, I would say. Um, but yeah, that's how it was. My sister Angela, she took care of my brother and I, um, and yeah, it was like I said, each one of us were just living together, but just total separate lives. And yeah, my sister, she was the most responsible one, for sure, because she's the oldest. Um, and and my brother and I, we were just kids. We play games, and he's now, he's a big role model to me. I wish to be half the man that he is, as as a role model to the church, um, to people that he's connected with in the community, and um, as a husband and as a father. He's a well put together dude, and he's just responsible and disciplined. And yeah, me, I was just reckless. I was the black sheep of the family. I was getting in trouble, so I was just um,
No
I
way.
was mischievous. Yeah, I was a troubling child. um, yeah, my grandma, she was. I love my grandma. Um, yeah, she always, her and my grandpa always took care of us, and and I just loved being around them. I love being. I was with them almost every day when I was a kid.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Love it, man. Love it. You relate so much to it too, man. Absolutely value it. So, how do you feel about your education in life?
Ooh, I'm glad that we're bringing this up. I think it surprises some people, at my job, or where I'm working, or even people that connect with, professionally, or just connect with. And I don't want to say professionally because I'm not a professional at all. Um, but I guess people who are in deep in their careers, or you know established. Um, I Growing up, I guess since I was a kid, I didn't do well in school, um, and it was hard because a long time I would think, is it just because I'm dumb? Like, am I dumb? And like some of the teachers even told me. I remember this clearly as a kid too. Some of the teachers told me like how they don't understand how I don't understand,
Mm,
um, and how I just wasn't as smart as some other kids when I'm supposed to be because I'm Asian,
mm.
and that stuck with me. So for a long time, I believed that I was just dumb. I made it by with C's and D's. When D's back then were okay with like getting to the next grade, I had D's because I was like, okay, I just need to get a D, and that's it. I never thought about getting A. It was just like, it's gonna get a D, and get C's or whatever. C's to me were like, okay, cool, like I should do good, and I'm going to the next grade. But that's how it was when I was young, and to look back and realize I wasn't. It's not that I was dumb. It's not that I wasn't disciplined or smart. It was just because there was a lot of trauma going on at that time of my life for me to focus on anything else. That I was just showing up and just making it by. Um, so, education wise, I graduated from high school. I went to a junior college, to do my 2 year, and to even think about what I wanted to do. I guess I was just doing it because, um, my friends were doing it. The girl I was dating at the time, she was really smart, and I wanted to keep up with her, you know. So I did that, and then I ended up dropping out, of college, again, because I went back and resorted to those thoughts of like, man, maybe I'm just dumb. Um, but I never really fully understood. It wasn't that I was dumb. It was just because I didn't really have time to think about what I really wanted to do. So it's funny because even now, like a lot later on in my life, I read so many books, and I study so many lectures on psychology, some psychotherapists, and neurophysicists, just a lot of things, and I truly believe that it's not because I was dumb. It's just because I just didn't have that time to really focus on all those things when I was a kid. So yeah, that's as far as education. I have my certifications. I have a couple certifications in, like, personal training, and three certifications in nutrition, but no college degree.
And it's absolutely okay over here to say that. Let me say that. Thank you so much. If y'all are tuning in, y'all are listening to the makings of Paul Saelee with Everythang Culture. Y'all make sure to like, share, subscribe, especially on that share, leave a comment, and, shout out to our guests, man. Thank you, Paul, first and foremost, for real.
Thank you.
Man, so what was your first sense of responsibility in life?
First sense of responsibility. So I've always helped my parents out with any type of family businesses that they had. From the time when I was 13, 14. So I've always done a lot of like hard work, physical labor work. And so from the time I was about 13 and a half, 14, I would either do some landscaping or some, side building projects with my dad, whether it be, make some fixtures to the house, just learning how to do things, learning how to be a semi craftsman, or just be able to, DIY some stuff to fix. After that, we had a ranch.
Okay.
We had a ranch, and I was helping them always work that. Either and we slaughtered, livestock, so I was doing that. Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to be responsible as a son, being obedient to my mother and my father. So whenever they asked of things, I just did it without any questions. And to me at that time, that's what I understood as responsibility, was like being able to do something when I'm told, but then also being able to do something because I know that I can do something and I should do something. So that was that. And I would say my responsibility in myself, I guess this is going back to childhood too, was like I said, I grew up in a very diverse community and had friends from every culture when I lived up here. That's how I was 12, and when I moved to California into a very small hick town called Exeter.
That sounds like a city in Texas. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a small farming rural town, population like 4,000 or 5,000 people, and my family was the only Asian family. And I was in a school full of predominantly, white people. So I was bullied around a lot, and I didn't understand it at first because, coming from here, where I had friends from every culture, I had, black friends, white friends, Mexican friends, like just Asian friends, everything. So going over there, it was different, where I was isolated. I was by myself. Nobody wanted to be my friend, and coming to find out, like, people were racist, towards me, and I was like, I don't, this is new to me. So like what's going on? It made me think again about going into that shell of like people pleasing, until I was like, nah, man, like this ain't right, and it triggered something just really scary in me, where I had to be real defensive and fight. So for me, like that responsibility of being proud that I'm Asian, and going against whatever narratives and stereotypes that those white kids had, I fought. I stood up as that Asian kid, the only Asian kid in the school, the only Asian kid and family in the town. Like, I didn't care. I picked my head up and I was like, I got to do this, because if I don't, then people are just gonna kick me around and beat my ass all the time just because I'm Asian. And yeah, from then on, like I guess responsible in that sense, and me being myself and true to who I am. Like I learned at that age, at that time. Responsible as like, I guess, working and knowing that I have to discipline myself because there has to be some type of form of lesson in work, being able to help my family whenever they need it, with their business or being responsible as I should know how to do some things when it comes to taking care of little things around the house, like building things, fixing things, working hard. Yeah, I would say yeah, around 13, 14.
Wow. That's man, you. Let me tell you, your responses be answering like future questions, and I'm like, you must listen to the show. You're killing it, man. Once again, there's no right or wrong, but you are. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Paul. So, whew, and I appreciate you standing up too. That's what it takes. With the Marshawn Lynch, sometimes you just got to run through somebody's face.
Yeah.
You got to keep running through their face. They gonna get tired of that stuff. Like, let me tell you that. Oh man. So So let's say if you didn't handle business, if you were disobeyed, how are you disciplined growing up?
Oh, we catch the stick. We catch the hand, catch the back of the hand. I catch mom's rubber slippers. It's physical. And I smile because like I know today that won't get a pass. But back then, I'm gonna tell you the truth, like it definitely worked. But yeah, that's how discipline was. In the Asian culture, we don't believe in getting grounded or timeout. That don't work. Timeout is only because you're crying after getting hit. I know I'm laughing at that. I'm laughing at that, but it's the truth. It's like the only timeout you getting is because you crying for not listening to your parents. That's the only timeout you're getting. Grounded is like we were never grounded, honestly. Like, yeah, that was it. It was like you listen or I'm gonna make you listen. That was just that.
I'm doing my child welfare series right now. I'm sorry, so I'm sorry for that. But he ain't lying. This is no right. This is just the truth. This is the truth, y'all. This is what y'all hear. This is what you get with Everythang culture. This you get the people. Yeah, this is how it is. Okay, but when Paul said, first of all, he said you could catch the stick. I never heard that. I was like, okay. Yeah. Then when he backdoors, like, the only time you got time out is when you crying. I was like, dang, that is exactly how it is. It's like, I'm gonna give you some time to get that out. And you may have to give. I'm not done yet either. And it's like, oh
yeah, that was real. It was real. It was
emotional damage.
It is emotional damage for real. Yeah, it was like that. I remember one time my brother and my cousin and I were just kids. We're having fun running around upstairs, right? And I felt bad for my brother because he wasn't even running around with us. He was going to join us because we're just having fun. We were kids. And my dad, he was mad because I guess he was on a call or something. He was doing something. He was on the phone. And he came out and he was just yelling like, "Stop running." And we were kids. We were just running around, still having fun. And oh man, I'm laughing because my brother and I, we talk about this all the time. But he didn't have anything in his reach to grab to like try to catch us. And my brother, like, mind you, like my brother, he didn't even join us yet. He was just like, "Oh, I'm going to join y'all." And then, so my dad pulled off at that time, line. Phones, how they had the
extension cord.
Yeah, extension cords, right?
Yes.
So he straight up he unplugged the extension cord on his phone and just straight up whipped my brother. And I felt bad because I was like, dang, like my brother didn't even get to have fun yet. But yeah, like that's how it was. Like he just straight up that was it. You don't listen, like you don't get a warning. The warning is like it's already too late.
See this. I be trying to tell our folks in the a Black American culture, okay, African American descendant of slave, how you want to put it. It's a term that's been said. When situations like that happen to your brother, he's getting it for old and for new. That means you didn't have to do nothing.
Oh,
or even in the old for new, if I didn't catch you for something, you probably deserved it. And it's like, what kind of manipulative, like?
Yeah, no, it worked. It definitely worked. So it's like, you don't want to cross the line to make your parents mad, or to make we didn't want to cross the line.
Yeah.
To even make them have the thought of being mad, because it was we're inferior, like in discipline isn't like we're trying to get hit.
Yeah. Hey, y'all, this is the makings of Paul Saylee with Everythang Cultures. I understand. So, jumping to our next question. So, what are and what were your beliefs?
What were and what are my beliefs?
Yes,
that's good. I'm glad that you asked that. So I grew up in a Christian home. Ever since I was born. That's all I knew was I grew up in Christian home. I grew up in a home that went to church every Sunday. Let's say it like that. I grew up in a home that went to church every Sunday. So as a child into teen, young adult years, I would say that I was a Christian. I'm still a Christian. I would say that I was a Christian because we went to church every Sunday. So that was a routine thing. Every Sunday, went to church. I didn't really know what it was for me though, as a kid. And growing up over the years, it was a life experience for me to realize, even connecting with friends, that not everybody went to church. Not everybody went to church. Not everybody went to Sunday school, and it was tough. Honestly, it was tough until my young adult years, until where I started really challenging the foundation of my beliefs. And that required me to go back to when I was a kid. That's what I'm saying. I grew up in a home that went to church. And my parents, they're Christian. They love God. They truly do. But it made me explore the way that I was raised to know God, Christianity, Jesus. And then the way that I grew up and how I had to explore and learn those things on my own.
Yeah.
As a man and in the world.
Yeah.
And it was very conflicting because when I didn't go as deep and challenge, I don't like to say challenging because it was like trying to prove it wrong, but challenge is in trying to understand why I believe in God, why I believe in Jesus, why I consider myself a believer and a follower, and truly know that I received salvation like through Jesus, through Christ. It required me to do a lot of digging, to where it's like, it's not about the Bible verses that you remember in Sunday school, but how about the life that you lived, and how much of the life that you lived to really reflect those actions, and you living out to reflect Christ's love and grace in you, and to the people that surround you, to your community, to your friends, to the people you love, and even to yourself in the places that no one knows. And that was a part that really, I would say, definitely forced me to explore more of those beliefs. So I was a kid in a home that went to church. And then I fell off, I would say, in my road to Damascus, which is a super Christian reference. But it really was. I fell off into my desert where I didn't believe. And I know that people are watching this are probably going to be shocked because there's only a couple of people that I talked to about it in that phase where I went off and tried to live in a day and world where I just didn't pray, didn't want to talk to God. Everything that happened, I wasn't praying for a way out. I wasn't praying for perspective. I wasn't praying for insight. I was just trying to view it from how the world's supposed to view it as, and coming to find out, like, I went through that revelation in my life where I was like, as much as I tried to live my life away from who God was, who Christ was, and what I grew up to know Christ and God as, I couldn't because, and I wouldn't say that it's because I grew up in a home that went to church, but I grew up in a Christian home where my parents truly did love Christ and truly do love Christ and truly do follow and truly do pray, read, and try to seek after the Lord, to realize that the voices in my head, and this is crazy because it makes me sound crazy, the voices in my head, there's a lot of voices where it's me, and I guess it's me as in the flesh and what I consume from the world. And then there's voices where it's me, but it's not me, where there's conviction in the weight of what I'm hearing. And the conviction and the weight of what I'm hearing is totally different to where sometimes when I hear certain voices or certain things or certain thoughts, I ask, like, where's this coming from? Because I'm around more of the world and my own thoughts of what pleasures me or my flesh, to where at those moments where I hear the other thoughts where it's like, where's this coming from? Because I wouldn't think of anything like this. And I was able, that was what made me more wise, or not wise, but more understanding of discerning the voice of the Spirit, and from understanding the words that I pray from when I read scripture or Bible is different than the words that I hear from the world that try to prey on me. So yeah, now I would say today, yeah, I'm a Christian. Like I believe in Jesus. I'm not perfect by any means.
Never will be.
Yeah, never will be. But I think that's the beauty of it is to realize that, like, Christ doesn't call us to be perfect as me as a man. Christ doesn't call me to be perfect as a man in this world, but Christ made me perfect in the way that he came into the world, so that I can continue to live and try to be more like him in this world. And yeah, I mean, I love Jesus, man.
Hey, love it. You got me over here like this man pray because he's looked at it as prey. Is it?
Yeah, no, facts. That's true.
Okay.
True.
For real. Thank you so much for sharing. Like, in that journey, a lot of people relate. You'll be surprised, not only the person you're talking to right now, and the many people that's listening right now that relate to everything you just said. That journey, that on road to Damascus, like it's a. Don't feel bad. Just keep walking. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, following our next question, how you feeling?
I'm good.
Okay. We're halfway through.
Okay.
So, give me 3 recommendations: a book, a movie, and a television series.
Ooh, book. Okay. A book. What was it again? Oh,
a book, a movie,
a movie,
and a television series.
Oh man,
what would you recommend?
Ooh, a book first. I'm not trying to sound Christian at all, but definitely the Bible. It's crazy. The Bible is just crazy. Even if you read it as a book, go ahead. Like I truly recommend people to just read it and think about it. Think about it. If you're a believer, read it and really prepare your heart so that God could speak to you through His Word. But at the same time, if like read it again as just a book, and you see so many things in there, references,
drama, action,
yes,
betrayal,
yes.
like it's. I always look at that was like when it's so much happens, and it still happens to this day. You can find something you can relate to. So many, parables that's in there, and it's people. I tell you this is real life people that people experience. Like I was telling Joe, this is the makers of Paul, by the way. But I was talking about like David and Goliath. I always thought Goliath was like a monster, like a Cyclops or something. No, the Goliath was just a big dude. He was like 6'4". He was like 6'4" and just really strong. And I'm like, and then you got to go against that, and it's just like people deal with those type of things all the time, still to this day. But if you just take the time and read how things are put together, I played Joseph in the play one year, and I remember the director of the church play was like, "Hey, I need you to pretend like you are Joseph." I don't know about that. Cause when you really look into it, Joseph wasn't cool with it. Like Joseph was just like a lot of us in flesh. It's like, girl, you better get out. Bye. Get out. And once again, this is our show. This is our conversation. This is your show. This is your conversation. Hope you don't mind me.
Oh, no, of course. No. Go ahead.
It was like, and the thing is back then, if she was known to be pregnant, Mary, and, and he didn't support it, he didn't protect her, because really Joseph was a big deal, because they would have killed her. And I look at society now, how people try to shame people and it's a new way of stoning individuals and just bring them. And we still, once again, the story is still happening. If we just look at the book, we can see how grace and faith and relationship, how we really can avert a lot of these issues that we have. But I digress. This is the book of Paul, though. So we got the Bible for the book.
The Bible. Outside of that, if you don't want to read the Bible, that's okay too. I know it's challenging for a lot of people too, and that's fine. But Atomic Habits, The Alchemist.
Someone recently told me about The Alchemist.
Oh man, it's good. It's good. There's a lot of good parables in there. If you really go back and read about journeys and yeah, it's good. Man, there's a lot. I can't sort through to think of, but those two. I read The Alchemist a long time ago when I was in college, and I didn't think about it a lot until reading it again. Like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I was like, oh whoa, like how did I miss all of this stuff when I was in college? But at the same time, like if you read the book, you'll see some parts too that to me it spoke to me, because I was like, oh yeah, like I at that time of my life, like I just wasn't in the right headspace.
Yeah.
So it's good. And then Atomic Habits, because that really is great. I'm all about establishing discipline. Discipline as in personal discipline and self-growth and reaching goals that you have. So that's a great book for reference and all that. Okay, I'll just move on to movies.
Okay.
Movies. Oh man,
I'm telling you, if you had if you're talking to a young person or a person that's like, let's say 18, 19, getting ready for you need to watch this movie. This movie either can change you, make you smile, or it's an impact in my life.
Coach Carter's one for sure.
Coach Carter
still gives me goosebumps. Whenever I see it just play, I end up stopping and watching it for a bit, because like there's certain scenes I'm like, oh, and that's a good movie.
television series.
Television series. I like a lot of like comedy and like rom-com stuff too recently. Just
Really?
like weird because I was never into that, or like reality things. I was never into that, but I don't know. I guess there's something about reality shows. Like I like watching people's problems. I mean it. I mean it in another perspective where, like, I like awkward moments, I guess, and reality shows like show that. So yeah, like one thing that I really watched a lot growing up, that was a TV series, was Dave Chappelle.
Hey,
I watched that a lot when I was a kid. Like that was just always on. What else?
there's definitely support with everything culture. A lot. Like, you don't know how much I have on this soundboard. It's from the Chappelle show. But I have to forget, that's like 20 years old, but man, it's like but it's classic, it's timeless.
Yeah.
Those are dope recommendations. So Bible, The Alchemist, Atomic
Habits.
Atomic Habits. The film would be Coach Carter. And the television series is the Chappelle Show.
I mean, I used to watch cartoons and stuff. I used to be like big into Dragon Ball Z. I think I'm watching it now again, and like Naruto only because my nephew and my niece watch it, so it's really nostalgic.
Yes,
so it's like cool, like, and it goes back to again. It's like, man, those are the childhood memories though of good times. Where I watched it with my brother and my friends, and we loved it.
Yeah.
So reliving that moment with my nephew and my niece, like it's real wholesome,
Oh man, see, okay, that's a perspective I didn't even think of.
Oh,
so for instance, with not only watching it with your family and spreading on, to the future generations, but we were taught as being Black, and we'll bring you back on to have more in-depth conversation about being Asian. Were you ever bullied by watching anime, anything of that nature?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's what we got to come back on, because it was like being in our community and like in the years we came up, like what, 2000, and I was 2004, so you'd be 2007, 2008. Like anime was not, popular like it is now, like well received in their schools.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo,
crazy.
Like I heard some folks say, "Oh, I never thought about it like that from the Asian community," because I'm like, "Yeah, we never mess with it." But I was like, "Nah, you coming from where I'm from, you was gonna go through it." And
yeah, we I remember getting picked on.
Yeah.
Because of how my hair was, because of an anime, or because like, just all these crazy things. Like even some people trying to imitate like voices, or like the way someone's like dialect is when it's hard for them to speak English, like just like those things, like that would always come up for sure.
I know. I always look at it like it's gonna happen. There's gonna be a conversation for the future though, and how do we maneuver through those processes? Okay. So you had a magic phone, and on this magic phone, you can call anyone, anything. Rather people that you know, people that you've known, people that you've never met. If people are even fictional, who would you call? You got 3 people.
3 people.
Yes.
I'm not trying to be religious again, or I don't consider myself religious, but I don't want to be too Christian again.
You are what you are.
Yeah. My first one, hands down, I would definitely call it Jesus. Second person, my grandpa, who passed away. Third person, my homie Calvin. My homie Calvin passed away when we were young too.
Well, I appreciate you for your 3. I hope those are good conversations. The ones you don't want to get off the phone with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Thank you. So, Paul, what's your theme song?
Ooh, theme song.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of hip hop. Man, one song?
No, hey, give me. Hey, this is your show.
Oh,
How many of us? Maybe you got an intro and an outro. Let us
okay.
know if you had a sitcom. What would be your theme song when you getting up in the morning? You rolling out.
Okay. Oh, in the morning. Oh man, I would say Nas. I listen to a lot of Nas. I started listening to Nas again. I went through a couple of years where I just stopped listening to hip hop when I stopped making music.
Yeah.
But Nas. One song would be, man, Represent. Another song would be, man, H to the Izzo by Hove or Jay-Z.
You can give us a song when you're coming back in too, when you headed in for the day, or you headed to a workout.
Oh, for the workout? Man, that's the crazy thing is like, when I go to workout, I don't even listen to songs. I listen to like podcasts now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hope you listen to one particular.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Okay. I would say, man, a lot of old hip hop in general. Jay Electronica artists. I'll list artists, all right? It's too hard for me to list songs. It really is. It really is too hard for me to list songs. Jay Electronica, Nas, Jay-Z. That's like just for me to try to get amped up. Souls of Mischief, Wu-Tang, Mariah Carey.
Hey, I ain't mad at
it. I've been on this EDM thing lately. Just because like I'm really fascinated by how DJs are able to control crowds. So I started listening to some EDM too.
That's a whole another conversation.
It's crazy.
Like, music is powerful.
That would take up a whole nother podcast.
That's what I'm telling you. That's all we ain't. I'm looking at. I'm like, cause we.
I guess I can't list songs. I'm sorry, artists.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's your thing. This is the makers of Paul. So, Paul, how would you define joy?
Ooh, joy. I would define joy as, of course, being happy, a sense of fulfillment, but also all of those things, even at the times of the hardest moments, because that's when you need joy the most, and I would say it's peace, like peace, happiness, love, like all these things are all joy, and hopefully all these things sustain through the tough times. That's true joy. I to me personally, true joy is for it being able to outlast the storms and all those waves in life that try to knock you down and drown you.
Wow. Love it. Who represents your community of support?
Who represents my community of support?
Yes.
What's in my mentors? Community support is in, my mentors.
Give us some names if you don't mind.
One of my mentors that I'm really has really helped me through a lot is Matt Akubo, Art Grady, Will. I don't want to say his last name because he doesn't want me to say his last name.
I just want them to know that you're, they are recognized by you. Once they listen to this, I want them to know, like, hey, you consider them in life.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And I have to say, my brother Diego, definitely my brother Diego. He definitely he challenges me, man. Spiritually, personally, he does that for the community. Honestly, man, it's crazy. It's crazy when you ask, right?
Yeah,
it's crazy when you ask because like now I'm like just going through people that there's a lot of people that made impact for sure, and I don't want to feel like the people that I don't list don't.
Yeah.
It's just it's hard because I guess I'm like so comfortable, and that's bad. Like being comfortable and knowing that they're there to uplift me and uplift community, and that I can lean on them. But yeah, it's hard because I want to list a lot of people, man, but I can't.
We were talking about what you could do after the show. We were like, because this is the makings of Paul. It doesn't stop here. I want people to know it doesn't stop here. But love it. Okay. How does your culture or community recognize death, or when someone passes? What are some of the traditions you all have?
This is interesting in the Mien community. So the Mien, a lot of the Mien, they're Taoist. So Taoism's they pay respect and they pay respect and like worship to their ancestors. And then my family though, or in the community that I grew up with, they're Christian.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because death does great things in bringing people together. So when your funeral happens, and let's say I have family who are Taoist Buddhists, and they have family Christian, they come together, and you can see peace despite beliefs, right? Because it's about family and love, and being able to support each other through grieving. But in the Taoist side, what they do is when someone passes away, they do a ceremony by a shaman. The shaman comes in, and only this elected shaman, or I guess they call it a high priest, or one of the shamans and the elders in the community, where he has to be there because only he can communicate he can only conduct certain rituals and communicate prayers or offerings or sacrifices.
Yeah.
And what they usually do is they have they burn like we call it like incense, sage. Yes, they would burn that. They would burn other things, and they'd burn money. So they would burn money, and they'd also have a community where they give money. So this is the cool thing that I really love about the Mien community, is that despite being Christian, despite being Taoist, Buddhist, whatever, there's a community where they come together and they contribute money to help towards like deaths, burials, like just in support. And I think that's really cool. That's really unique. Because I mean, for me, I never really realized how expensive all of that is.
Yeah.
So it's cool to have support for the community. So yeah, going back to the Mien community that are Taoists or Buddhists, they do their sacrificial offerings. They have people come together, eat together. That usually lasts like 3-4 days, weeks. Of course, during Asian functions, Asians love drinking. So, they eat together, they drink together, they gamble. And gamble isn't like they either play cards, they play like dice, or they have like this, I don't know what this is, but like this, I'm thinking this comes from a Chinese background, because Mien people are like indigenous Chinese.
Yeah.
So it's like this like marble and like checkers. I don't know how they play. I watch it. It's interesting because they play and they like gamble for money.
It's not backgammon, is it?
No.
No, marble. You use dice for backgammon.
It's like marbles and like it's just a bunch of things.
Is it like on a star? Is it like five? Is it 5 different points?
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna see. You about to make me look it up now. You about to make me look it up.
Yeah, no. When I find out, I'm gonna send it to you.
Please.
Yeah, but they do all that. Yeah, and it's crazy though, cause like there's so much love in like, all that. You just see it like, and a lot of people just coming together. So there's definitely love in grieving and death. And then from the Christian side, like, you know, same thing. Families come over. Sometimes it lasts like a week, weeks. You know, you have distant families. Sometimes they stay and they stay with the family to show them support as they're mourning, grieving. They cook for them. They cook and a bunch of people like from all over the community come to the house. So you have all these people just like eating for days, and like you cook food. The family, whoever the host is, like they cook food to continue to feed the family. The family are welcome to stay there as long as they want. So it's like it goes from when the death, I guess, the death, like when it occurred, and when people start coming over, like the time that people leave your house is like sometimes people just leave at like 3-4 in the morning. Like it's an ongoing event.
No, thank you. Ooh, can relate to that. So I know I know you're looking at the clock or anything, but I'm gonna hit you with a few more questions. Okay. So if you could do anything in the world and you like money wasn't an issue, like you're wealthy, as long as you kept this one job, this one career, what would you do?
One job, one career?
Mm-hmm. You could do anything you wanted to do, but you had to do it. That's your thing.
I would be a clinical psychologist.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. But to focus on counseling traumatic, well, yeah. Well, no, let's just leave it at clinical psychologist. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. This is would you rather? Would you rather go back in time and speak to your younger self, or would you rather for your future self come and talk to you now?
Wow. Dang.
Yeah.
I'd rather go back in time to speak to my younger self.
What age would you go to?
8 years old.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. How do you relax?
How do I relax?
Yeah.
Ooh, man, that's hard for me.
I know.
It's very hard for me. I'm always doing something.
That's why it took you almost 3 years to come on the show. But they say, thank you for coming through. And that's why I'm saying you got to do something else right after this. So I'm like, how do you relax?
This might sound weird, but even working out helps me to relax. If I don't do that, then relaxing, spending time with family. For sure. Spending time with family.
Love it. Okay. If you had a meal that you can get at any time at the snap of your fingers, what would it be and who would prepare it for you?
Well, for one, your brisket, because I still haven't had it yet.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yes. Because I'm always fasting.
You're not fasting this week, are you?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna make one. I was gonna make one. I was gonna make one today.
Oh,
I actually was gonna make it today.
Your brisket, man.
Man, you missed the potluck.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
Your brisket for sure. Another meal, pat kapao. Pat kapao is like this rice dish in Thailand, and it's just like minced meat with an egg that's like it's not scrambled. It's just fried.
Yeah,
like a fried egg, but it's all in the pepper though. The pepper, oh my god, it's crack. I would have to prepare it. That lady that was down at the shop, that was just down in the hotel, that saw me every single day for a month when I was in Thailand. Just for real, that was good. Yeah.
Wow, love it. Shout out to that lady. Okay, what's your favorite holiday?
Ooh, favorite holiday. Man, that's hard.
Our answer is also I don't know. That's always an
okay,
answer.
I don't know.
Okay. Tell people like, if you don't know, that's absolutely fine. Okay, we got the last few questions here.
Okay.
How would you want people to remember you?
I would want people to remember me as the person in their life who just loved them. Like regardless. Like love them regardless of we could have had a fallout. We could have anything that happened, like for them to remember that I was there to love them through everything. And they're cheerleader, honestly. Yeah. I'm always cheering for past friends. I say past friends because maybe, we got busy in life and we don't communicate as much anymore, but to remember as a cheerleader because I just want to see everybody win.
Real talk.
And yeah, I want to be that dude that people know that was just always there to love them, regardless, no matter how long. And that if I'm here or not, like hopefully that love, support, that belief in them, for them to get to wherever they're trying to get to in life, that transcends, and they could hold on to that and keep going on like with all of that, and to believe that for themselves. Yeah.
Love it. Okay. What are you doing differently than your parents?
I would definitely say going back, exploring therapy, counseling, and working through traumatic things that have happened in my life. I'm not 1/10. I'm not anything close to what. And I say this as in, I would never be able to go through any of the experiences that my parents have gone through to get to here, to get to America, to raising kids, to find out what they wanted to do with their life. And I feel bad because they never had the time to seek, counseling and help to work through the traumas that they had to go through to get here.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say that's the one thing that I know, that I'm doing that my parents didn't do.
Oh, that's beautiful, bro. Thank you. All right. What changes do you want to see in your culture?
Unity, love, peace. And when I say unity, I would say unity is in coming together without gossip. Coming together without gossip, coming together without anything to gossip. Yeah, man. I would love to see that. I really hope there's a day that I would see that.
Hey, support that. And the last question we have for you right now, Paul, is how can we support you?
Ooh.
How can the Everythang culture community support you?
By continuing to try and do this. I think this is amazing, man. Again, connecting with authentic people. Everyone's authentic. But I think that we have to truly continue to live authentic. And that's hard work. But it's through authentic and vulnerable conversations like this that bring so many communities and so many people together to uplift each other. Not just to show, differences, but to show that these differences bring unity. And I say unity isn't, dang, like that was their upbringing, that's how they grew up in that culture, but to bring unity in a sense like, oh wow, like I could connect with this person because I've been through similar things. And I could uplift this person because I'm going through this too. And it gives another perspective and insight to where we can help each other grow. But to support me, I mean, man, like you already doing it. You really are. Like it's a blessing to be on here and to have this conversation with you, and to hopefully, I hope that it really helps whoever's listening and watching too. But continue to just love and help people. Like I guess that's the best way to help me, because that's what I want to do for you and for everyone too, is just to love on people, because the world needs it, man. The world needs it more than ever right now.
That was like, it's crazy, the connection, man. Now, I don't know if you ever listened to my episode, but that's almost exactly what I said. It's a song by the name Stevie Wonder, "Love Is in Need of Love." And when I say that's what's like for the longest, it's so wild. But hey, man, you did it. You've done it. You completed the making of Everythang culture. Congratulations, man. You made it through. So, you know, you can look in this camera right here. If the people are looking for you and you're trying to be found, where can the people find you?
I'm on some social media platforms. I'm on Instagram, mainly on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram handle is at @hi_Saylee. Saylee is SAYLEE. Facebook is Paul Saelee. And if you're trying to find me, you can find me at the gym all the time.
Already. Hey, this man, he's also a trainer. I don't know if he's still in it right now. So if you need some help, you know, it's the beginning of the year. Holler at him. You know, he'll get you right. Oh man, I may have to show his kid picture back in the day. Like, I didn't even know about it. I was like, this man really testimony. I'm still working on mine, but hey, I want to say thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. You're truly a blessing. I'm happy to have met you in life, man, and continue to call you a friend and a confidant. And hey, looking for so much more. So I want to say thank you again. And usually I don't leave our mission statement on the makings of you, but I'm gonna do it for you because you know it hopefully just rings and touches someone. But our mission statement comes to the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and that is, he believed that men hate each other because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because of segregation. Because of segregation, we have miscommunication. So this podcast has been built on the pillars of respect, communication, and consistency, so we can get to know each other, so we can love one another. I want to say thank you all. Thank you, Paul. And God bless. Peace.